And is trying to find the agenda. These are all notes that we have to read out them. Should the fire alarm go off, we ask that you exit the building calmly and quickly using the stairway. Before we begin the meeting, is there anyone who needs assistance in either building? Should the fire alarm be activated? If so, the designated fire marshal will guide you to the refuge point to await rescue by the fire service. But we do not do all that. Like the other thing is, we do take off your mobile phones. Right. We want the tour guns in. Oh, sorry.
It's got blocked here as well. Personal machine.
Your fault, that's mine making a noise.
Need a marker or amplifier. Get the least stuff.
Okay.
Look at the technical issue that we have to check this, so we may have to do hard copy.
Yeah. In the bed. No, just some. Don't mind the kids. You've got your.
Oh,
thing.
that's one thing that we get to Right, okay, everyone. Start the meeting. Are there any apologies for absence? Are there any declarations of interest in any item that may be on the agenda?
126.
Yes, thank you.
5826.
26. Anyone else?
I am not. No.
Right, the next item is to receive and approve minutes from the last week, which was held on the Wednesday the 10th. Everybody? Yeah. Right, so we're now going to speak with Jaden. It's the hurry dash off, so we'll have your report first.
Thank you. May I just first apologise and thank you for your patience as well. Just got to head off. Need to do a fire drill for the night staff for one of the care homes. Been a bit of a palaver today, but just want to say thank you for letting me go first and just delivering this. So the first couple of months being your county councillor has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm not saying it's not had its times in combination with work, and of course, obviously the county responsibility. And now, of course, we've now got the football season as a referee in semi-professional football, so I'm going to have to kind of pull that back a bit to make sure that I give this my all. And so just to kind of give you a little bit of an update, I've rolled back my normal job. So I was facilities manager for a care home company. What I've done is I've rolled that role back, so I'm not travelling to Lincolnshire, Essex, Cambridgeshire and all over Norfolk. I'm now predominantly solely in Norfolk, so I can give this more of my time. Yeah, so I just want to say that at first. Kind of the big things I just want to get out of the way is the local member fund. So some of you may be aware the local member fund has been reallocated back into highways itself. Now, of course, the local member fund has supported many projects all over Norfolk, but ultimately it's £1 million in total for all of the councillors. And this is then dedicating a lot of officers' time to go on to smaller projects rather than fixing our roads, because we have to be honest here and say, and my point of view, is we have an £80 million backlog of highways related issues. So under this administration, we should hopefully, fingers crossed and touch wood, see an improvement in our roads under this administration. But there's not to say, and I want to say this as well, if there is an issue, whether that's a roundel or something to do with with whatever it is, if you need support, please just email me with a case for whatever it may be, and I will back you to the fullest to make sure, because again, it's not to say that no roundels will be put up or no whatever so no funds will be used for whatever it is. So please, if you have a case, please send it to me. Of course, we can fight that battle with highways to make sure we can at least try and get somewhere with whatever it may be. And also when it comes to the community fund, that's £500,000 that's now gone back into the fire service. So currently we're spending around 70 odd million on taxi rides, and we're spending 40 million odd on highways, and we're spending about 40 odd million on our fire service. So we're having a bit of a reshuffle and a bit of a rethink in terms of our priorities. So that's that one. And in terms of the reason why they want to reallocate that £1 million as well is allegedly, according to officers, they're going to get a greater 25% bang for our buck in terms of that £1 million. Apparently it's going to stretch to £1.25 million. And I don't know whether they come up with the math, but again, that's according to officers. And then in terms of, so I met with Kelly. Can I oust you, Kelly? Can I, if that's all right? So I met with Kelly the other week, and I know it's been an issue for a long time regarding traffic, speeding, etc. on the main road into the town. And it's absolutely abominable in terms of especially the large trucks or vans or HGVs not doing 20 miles an hour at all. So I want to make sure in the coming weeks that I have a meeting with Luke to discuss what can be done, because the ANPR data in terms of that, talking about traffic, I mean, how many years old is it? It's God knows how many years old?
2018.
2018. And probably not the right times either. So I want to make sure that I have those honest conversations with Luke to see what can be done. And what else? In terms of businesses, I've been going around doing a little jolly and talking to, whether that be fitness clubs, whether that be tradies, whatever it may be. I just want to see how I can support them best as a county council. Of course, we have say community hubs, we've got business hubs and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, it kind of, in my opinion, it's not really what businesses need. Of course, they've got their own ideas in terms of how they want to run a business. And again, there may be business owners in here that may have used services or not county council. But at the end of the day, you need lower taxes, you need lower national insurance and so on and so forth. So again, it's just having those honest conversations and making sure that we can hear them, we can support them in any way we can as a county council. But ultimately, it's national government that needs to put its finger out and start helping small to medium businesses. What else, John? I know I'm dragging on a bit here. So on the 16th and 17th, I met up with Block East Pie Solar and the Highgrove Opposition Action Group, which I believe, Paul, you were there, weren't you? You were there. I'll tell you what, it is, again, I don't know views in the room here, but certainly from our perspective, like I've said before, we're opposed to solar farms. We're not opposed to solar itself, but we're opposed to solar farms being on our arable land. And it was just phenomenal where we had individual cases of first-hand experience of living next to transformers and substations and talking about their experience in terms of the low level frequencies and kind of how it's impacted their lives. And we had Sam Shelley, who delivered a session on kind of the impacts on bats and kind of how we as an action group, how they are trying to fight as best as they can, see what ways they can come up with fighting in any way they can against these solar battery farms. But the problem is now that came to light is that the national government, as I'm sure Jacob and Julie is probably aware, they're now likely to pass legislation which would then completely remove us as the public as statutory consultees, which would then mean they can rubber stamp everything, and then any kind of judicial reviews wouldn't be able to happen because we're then not statutory consultees. There was another thing in there. So until how long we got? We've got 8 more days. So we've currently got a by-election happening. We've got many by-elections coming all over the place, as I'm sure you're aware, but especially one for Norfolk County Council in Norwich. So we're currently now in Purda, so the pre-election period. So there's certain things I can and cannot say, and so please just be mindful about that in terms of the next 8 days. If you've got questions, but I may likely not be able to come back to you until after the 16th. So just to let you know about that. And what else is there to talk about? Oh yes, and Kelly again. Swaffham Guardians. If there is any local community projects, again, not just in Swaffham, if you hear any within the local areas, Spall, Beecham Well or Narborough, please, I want to get involved as much as I can, whether it be the evenings or weekends. And so we did the peddlers sign day. So I really enjoy these community projects. I want to get involved firsthand where as and when I can. So please, anything, or if it's a local constituent that to help painting their fence, whatever it is, tell me or tell Kelly or whomever, the Swaffham Guardians. I just want to get involved as best as I can. So, and the last I'd like to say is congratulations on your 2-month anniversary as mayor of this establishment.
Time so far.
Yes, so far. I'll tell you what, it's been phenomenal. I've enjoyed currently doing the vice chair of the Adult Social Care and Public Health Scrutiny Committee. It's a bit of a mouthful. And it's been a good onboarding process with my managing director, as I work for a adult social care company, specialises in dementia and SEND care. And so I'm kind of having this one-to-one basis with my managing director to make sure that I can fulfil that role as best as I can. But again, it is about being a vice chair, not necessarily scrutinising. Any questions on anything? I know I've waffled.
I know that Aidan's in a hurry to get away, and we'll probably not protocol, but we've got 2 members of the public there. I only any questions for Aidan.
Just talk. But yeah, so when it just comes to emails as well, if for whatever reason you haven't got a response with me for about 5 or so days, please just ping me another email. Jay over there, whatever. Please just send it again. I'll get back to you.
I've got a hand up from Paul, I believe.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, please. Sir.
I was very pleased to see that Reform going against the solar farms. I
Yes.
was very pleased with that. But one of my things is the drone one is now coming up for the inspectorate in September, and I hope we perhaps a representative or 2 would come from county council to oppose it at that inquiries. And I think they're going to be looking at some of the community levy or whatever they want to call it that they may be willing to give. Whatever it is, I think it's not going to be enough. But I think I would like to see people from county council going there. As the group you mentioned about the group meeting, there was all the villages are up against it, as you saw at that meeting, and a lot of them are doing campaigns, the posters and things to try and get it stopped. Is there any way that the county can perhaps put some pressure like that out as well?
I'm sure I can have those conversations in terms of representing that group. When did you say
September.
September.
I can't remember exactly.
Also like to represent, of course, I can get in contact with my colleagues in regards to representing, and of course you yourselves, you too.
I'm still trying to get this council to make a decision whether they're for it or not, but
Sure. Just on a last note, I'd like to add, Jacob has been phenomenal as well. He's been great with me, just kind of filling me in the gaps here and there. He's a great communicator. He's been good. He's been fantastic. And Julie, it's great to meet you too. Thanks. Thank you. Now, if I may stop rambling, if I
Anyone
can.
else quickly before Aidan to fingers.
Oh, good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jane, very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's a good skate now. Right. But again, thank you all. Thoroughly enjoyed it so far. My God, I'm looking forward to the next year. Thank you, guys. Brilliant.
Thank you. Right, so we can move on to Breckland. We have 2 representatives. We've got Judy and Jacob. You want to lead on that one?
A couple of things. Riddle.
Oh,
Don't get excited. No, don't get excited. I did try to get some answers on this, but unfortunately the case officer who's dealing with this is now on holiday. It's that time of year. However, there is some supporting documentation that went in on the 25th of June, which is from the applicant's drainage consultant, and that is in response to the objections by the LLFA. So that is obviously now being considered, and the date on that for expiry is the 31st of July. So hopefully we might hear something by the end of the month. But that's all I can tell you on that. I won't mention the other word because there's no updates on that. Just to, you're probably you probably will have seen we have the local plan, Reg 19, that's now out for consultation. And you would normally potter off to the assembly rooms to put your ticks in the box. That has been moved to the community centre, and it's Friday, August the 21st, and it's from 10 until 2. We couldn't get that in and the Friday market all on the same day. It was just too chaotic. So it's in the community centre.
And you can redecorate.
Yes, yeah, in our brand new decorated send room, so you'll be able to see all the glitter and gold.
Oh,
That's it.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Judy. Take it.
Yeah, so just a couple of quick things. So Breckland is holding its first ever Breckland Business Awards in September. So there's going to be lots of different categories from sort of community impact to innovation and that kind of thing. So nominations for that are open till the end of July. So I'll send the link around for that. It's been sponsored by a number of local businesses. And one of the great things about the Breckland Business Awards is going to be that each the winning businesses in each category are all going to be required as part of winning the award to share their knowledge either through some kind of mentoring or training situation with at least one young person in the district. So it's going to have a direct impact with that. So I'll send the link round to nominate for that. Obviously, you'll know that the Swaffham British Legion was awarded £500 from our new Armed Forces Community Grant Scheme. They then had some other unexpected costs to the road closures. So Breckland's given them a further £250 grant on top of the original 500. And also went along to the Veteran Central group that is obviously based at West Raynham, but they have I think it's monthly a drop in Swaffham. So they were given some funding from Breckland to support that as well. So it was good to go along and see that. And then just an update on local government reorganisation, because I know Jaden's updated on this from a county council perspective. From Breckland's perspective, obviously you'll know that we've opposed LGR completely from the beginning. Earlier this year, end of last year, Breckland Council passed a motion. Every single councillor apart from one supported it, saying that we oppose LGR and would rather keep the current system. However, if the government forces it upon us, we would prefer to have 3 unitary councils for Norfolk so that we keep the councils as local as possible. So that's been our position. That was supported, as I say, almost unanimously by every single political party. And you may be aware that Norfolk County Council recently launched a judicial review. Now, I think it's important to clarify that the judicial review is not against LGR in principle. The judicial review that they are launching is against the decision made by the government a couple of months ago to say, right, we're going to switch from the current system to 3 unitary councils. Now, what that means is that if this judicial review was successful, in Breckland Council's opinion, there's a risk that the government could turn around and say, OK, you're not happy with that decision. We'll switch to 1 single unitary council for the whole of Norfolk, because that's what the civil servants in government recommended. The Secretary of State decided to go for the 3. So we believe that there's a risk that this judicial review could sort of sleepwalk us into a single council for the whole of Norfolk, which again, Breckland Council, West Norfolk Borough Council all agreed that we wanted 3 unitary councils. The county council there seems to be murmurs that they're now in favour of a single unitary council. That contradicts the way they voted at the district council and borough council. So I think it's just important to be mindful that this judicial review could have unintended.
No timescale.
No. So I believe they've started by sending the sort of pre-action protocol letter. So when this came up at Breckland's full council, Breckland Council had just received a lot of legal documents to do with the judicial review. And at the time they said, we're still looking through it, but we feel that this judicial review could backfire. I've checked with the leader of Breckland Council today. He still feels that that's the case.
Will you, with Breckland or the consortium of district councils, that want the three, will you be getting representation at that judicial review?
So, I mean, that's probably a question for sort of the coming months, depending on whether the judicial review's given permission to proceed. We would make, we made it clear that we support 3 unitary councils, and if we continue to think that the judicial review could put that at risk, then we will not support that judicial review.
Any members of the council have any questions?
Just one question, Jacob. Does this still mean that they will go ahead with the mayoral elections?
Yeah, so the mayoral election, having the mayor of Northern Suffolk, is a separate process. At the moment, that's scheduled for
Next year, isn't it?
2028, not next year. Again, obviously, we're going to have a new prime minister in 2 weeks or just under. That prime minister is going to be somebody who's just up until recently been a mayor. So I would assume they're going to be mayors, pro devolution. So we could well see the government go from saying it's going to be in 2027 to 2028 and then go back to 2027. Who knows, really? So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the next month or so.
You should go for the role.
That is
Brilliant.
It is, very costly. By election, as we've seen the last weeks.
Right, can we move to anyone else? Have any questions?
Lovely.
Right, before I close the meeting, in view of the weather, I mean, if either of you feel you want to get away, we won't take so kindly to that.
We'll stay.
Anyway, well, close the meeting in case there's any questions from members of the public.
Yes, I've got a positive thing rather than any criticism.
Thank you.
So last month, I raised the question of the progress of the speed reminder sign on Haspel's Road.
Mhm.
And there wasn't any positive thing from it, but now we have now got it. So I'd like to, on behalf of the public, thank the council staff for progressing it and making it happen. And now we've got an awareness one that says slow down 33 or whatever. And when I was coming off the wreck yesterday with my little dog, I stood and watched for 10 minutes and it's had a positive effect. Every time it's gone up with in excess of 30 and slow down, people have lifted and slowed down.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, just pat on the back. And
That'll be there for 3 weeks and then we have to move them around.
oh dear, we'll
We'll
just
be back, but that'll be on part of.
to move it the other way, so it's going towards the Cly Road. It's going towards London Road at the moment.
We love it on
Yeah.
Holly Road.
But yeah, but thank you. And I'm not the only one, the only member of public who's
It's
known
nice
it.
to have good news and thank you very
Well,
much.
I thought I'd throw that one in.
Any more questions?
No.
Right. We're reopening the meeting then. Yep. So now moving on, it could be me next. I'll try and make it as brief as possible. First thing we did, Jen and myself, we joined an online chairs training session. This was a 2-part module on how to become a good leader of the council. So that was the first thing we did. 13th of June, I attended a Festival of Youth event held at the camping ground with Nicola, Leanne, Helen, and various members of the council and council staff. It was good to see the exhibitors doing a splendid job in attracting our young people into occupational and vocational vacancies. Next thing we did, I presented an award to the Mayor's Police Cadet to Amelia Hollington for this coming year. And she's a very enthusiastic young lady. Also that day, I was asked by the chairman of Swaffham Golf Club to officially cut the ribbon and declare the new pergola building open, which I'm sure the members will be most pleased with that. It's hot weather. Then on the 20th, it was Young Traders Market Day. This was a chance for young traders to showcase their merchandise. We had 3 entries to judge, and this year's award went to Aurora, I believe the name was. Yeah. Who stall trades as Earth Panda. Leanne and I spoke to them all and wished them every success as they develop their businesses. As far as that was the official things that we did. Other than that, we had a very proactive month dealing with the affairs of the council, but most notably, and with the guidance of Helen, we were able to prepare purchase of a piece of land, Princess Street, to become known as Jimmy's Yard. This will become a valuable asset to the council and at the same time protect it for the future of the town as the future of the town continues to grow. And then finally, traditionally, the council doesn't meet in August. So for councillors and members of staff taking their annual holidays, may I wish you a great summer and see you back in September. There may be some subcommittees, of course, in the meantime. And that's it. Thank you. I believe I'm clerk on Leanne, who's next time.
Brief report.
Yeah.
Just to expand on the young trader winner, she's now been entered into the regional finals at Bury St Edmunds Market on the 29th of July. And myself and hopefully Ian will just pop along and give her some support on that day. And if she's successful, she'll go through to the nationals.
Excellent.
It'll be really exciting. Unfortunately, we had to cancel the first of the twilight markets due to excessive heat. The next last Friday of July was hoping to go ahead. Climates. And the other event is a family fun and wellbeing day at the end of July as well, which staff will attend during the day on a Wednesday.
Thank you.
Can I just make a comment? Know the community notice board near the buttercross? Yeah, brick building. Oh yeah, just a point, because some people that weren't on Facebook actually turned up to the twilight market because it hadn't been cancelled or so in the future if anything happens, if somebody could just make sure that they're being cancelled through.
Duly noted. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the museum report. Have you anything to report?
Right, not really, but I just want to tell you that I'm now an official, I've passed my stewards induction. So as a volunteer, I'm a volunteer, as you probably know, at the museum. And what they wanted was the backroom volunteers, which I to try and undertake some training so that they could stand in for the front office staff if ever needed. So I decided to show an example. Also, I've recommended it for anyone who's feeling at a loose end. You know, it's a great place to volunteer at. Museum. A lot of interesting things there, and you meet a lot of interesting people actually. But other than that, no, I haven't got anything, and I'll have to wait till September.
Oh, you're right. You save us plenty for September then, John. Okay, let's moving on. To receive and consider any late items. Items off, it's chairman's discretion. Sorry? You've got to request any late. Benches for the company.
I assumed it would go to the next assets and open spaces.
Is it urgent or?
No,
No,
no.
put it on assets then. Yeah.
That's it, not here. To discuss and consider correspondence received. Have we had any email?
That's all been circulated.
All been done, yeah. One is council register of interest changes to publications of home addresses. Seems like the councils are asked to note that from the 29th of June 2026, legislative changes will remove the requirement for local authorities to publish councillors' home addresses from public register. Interest.
So, so if we want our addresses redacted in the documentation in the office.
We don't normally put your home addresses on anything.
So how does that work?
This is, you know,
Yeah, well,
in your nomination packs, you have your declaration of interest form.
yeah. Oh, this is kept apart.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so they won't, in future, they won't publish that
Yeah,
home address.
for information.
Yeah, I'll get.
Right, the next item is consider further PSICA funding following the meeting held prior to the council meeting. Is there anything to add to that?
Yeah, what I was hoping to get from a brief discussion was the agreement of the town council in principle to support the next stage. And for those who missed the meeting beforehand, we are at the stage where we're in the last year of the current project, which included the HAS work in the town and other work towards designing improvements to the town centre. We currently have the design work at Reba Stage 2, which is an architectural stage, and the funding has finished, with no more funding, and to move this on and keep it alive, we need to look at funding the next stage to give us Reba 3 design. The designs that at stage 2 are all available, can be seen in the office. They're not public knowledge yet, but they're available for us to have a look at. The thing is, Breckland will have no, I'm not able to put any more funding in the future. So we're in a position where we're virtually on our own at the moment. So we need to have, first of all, agreement that in principle we want to continue with it. And then if we do, we need to have a discussion at finance on what's feasible and possible around the cost of it. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions. I know there were quite a few questions asked prior to the meeting. Has anyone got any?
There's,
Yeah.
did he mention 120,000?
Yes, that was his guesstimate. The current designers have for them to carry on with the design work. He said, this is Joe Warburton, that he's estimating about 120,000, and to reach that, or having reached that stage, we would be able to try and get funding for the actual project work for the future. Without stage 3, it's unlikely that we'll stand any chance of getting funding from anybody. So we need that, and to access funding basically. And the scheme it has got there's been I don't know how much, it wasn't a full consultation, was it? But there has been consultation. Yeah. And it is a good scheme to make the town centre more attractive, less car dominated. And if we don't, we're not minded to move forward with it, it's likely the whole thing will be shelved. So there are different options, which I think would be a discussion, a budget discussion, finance.
I was a bit late arriving to the meeting. I heard some very high figures.
Yeah, well, and you don't get much for your money at the design
No.
stage, but if we don't go there, it's like trying to do a building work with no plans.
Yes.
you
So
know.
we're being asked to fund the design from River Stage 2 to River Stage 3 in time. So
Well-
we fund it on our own.
We're being asked the question, would we be ultimately, would we be willing to do that, or to consider doing it in stages, maybe funding a part of it, which isn't desirable. Yeah, but I don't know. I think there are some questions to ask who we might look for further funding. We might.
I think it's probably beyond the realms of Swaffham Town Council taking this on.
I agree.
Well, yes, I think that when you consider we put 50,000 in
Yeah.
to the whole scheme that we're now finishing, and that attracted more funding and other partners put in,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different, but I think we can safely, if we want to pursue this, and we all think it's a good idea to pursue it, then we can make that decision now that we want, there's a willingness to go forward with it without actually committing to anything at this stage. And then we need to have some full discussions on.
I'll just let Paul come in and we'll go back to that.
I think a lot of it, I've been involved with this quite a lot of it before. And I think there are parts of the scheme that are very good and I think would really enhance, like the Waltham Borough and cutting that off of traffic was part of the scheme. That I think would be a brilliant idea to get that done. And I like the idea of the peddler's car park. Some people don't like the idea of the peddler's car park, but there are parts of it. And I think it warrants a better and a longer discussion. Perhaps a really set up a meeting to discuss this in full, because I think there are certain parts of it. I don't agree with some of the parts of it, but the two parts I would agree with. But let's see what the cost of them would be, because I think that would probably be about half of the scheme or something like that. Would
Yeah, and there's also that we've only got one quote, but it's not even a quote.
Exactly.
We could get other.
I don't think this is something we can further tonight, but I think.
If we can get Joe to perhaps get them to break down what it would be for each of the four schemes, then we can perhaps decide.
Well, we could get Joe to come back. We could have a full meeting set aside just for that. And Joe said he would come back to discuss options. But I would like to get to have a vote, a proposal that we are supportive of taking this forward, because it's not committing us to anything. But I think Breckland or Joe would like to know whether, as a council, we are supportive of the scheme.
I'm supportive of parts of the scheme, but not the whole thing, so I'm going to have to abstain.
Well, given the amount of money that's been spent on developing this already, laid out, and those of us that saw the plans, I think the whole council needs to see the plans. I think we have to, like you said, have a proper meeting, discuss it in full. We also need to invite Norfolk County Council, are probably going to be our partners in doing this, if it does happen, to help fund the project. But they should be there, and any other interested parties should be there.
I think the main interested party, as far as I'm concerned, is the market.
Yeah.
So I would
Very good
like to
point.
see them involved.
Well, I can understand people will have their views on certain parts of it, but as I understand this, it's just in principle so that we can discuss it more fully, and then, you know, these other all these views can be taken into account. There's some decision on funding, because I guess it's going to be match funding, isn't it? We've got we will have to put a certain in order to for other people to say, oh, we'll match that in kind. So
If we're going to go forward on that basis, we've either got to have a meeting during July, because we do try and avoid leaving in August. It's already a break. So is that going to be too tight a time, or have we got to be on to September?
I think, I mean, that if the answer tonight was no, that there isn't an appetite to pursue this or take it any further, then that would be an answer, and may not be the answer that Brett or Joe would like, but that would be an answer. If the answer is that there is an appetite to pursue it, then I think we can spend time on it and gather some more information.
It's an easy one, really. We can have a show of hands. Those in favour of pursuing the development, that is,
are you saying have a meeting to investigate it?
yeah,
Or
yes.
I'll go along with that, but you know, we're not committing
There's no commitment to anything to say.
That's what
No.
they said. We need to demonstrate to Bretland
Yeah.
that we are seriously considering things.
We're looking at the options of improving the town centre for everybody that lives in Swaffham. So anyone that says no to that, well,
Yeah.
That's almost what the last two tells us. Are you in favour of the enhancement of the town centre? That's basically, isn't it?
What's the, because I asked Liz,
Yeah.
Kramer,
So
Let's do it.
the proposal is to continue with the project by looking at further options, or with a view to having a full council meeting on the project.
Yeah. Right, well, that is a proposal, so we need a second.
we can say that.
Yeah, I agree.
Those the second is.
Okay, who's in favour of that?
Yeah.
Go for just to look at the plans and that,
Yeah.
they do look so good, but it's,
Well, everybody knows we just cannot commit.
no,
So we have a lot of
but
detail.
let's have a meeting on all of it.
We need to look at
Yeah, we do.
what we can,
Peaceful.
what we
Yeah.
can, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so move on now to 56/26. And this is an item regarding a group of trees that make a significant contribution to the character and community value of the conservation area. To ratify the comments submitted between town council meetings in response to planning application PC 2026-0818 TCA. Right, anyone want to lead on that one? Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is an application that we would have discussed at the planning meeting, but weren't able to because of timing. So the planning committee were all consulted on it by email, and a majority or views were sought on this application, and from which I put a comment together. It's not an objection, it's a comment to the planning application. And a majority of committee members agreed on this wording. So we've done it by email, and this is simply for the town council now to ratify that comment that was sent off, because it wasn't done through the normal procedure because of the timings, and it needed to be got in before the next planning committee, because we would have been out of time. And what it relates to is in the concept, the TCA relates to trees in the conservation area. So this is an application to notify Breckland Planning, the Breckland planners, that the owner of these trees wishes to carry out work on it, and this is an opportunity to comment on it. And this comment points out that it's in a conservation area and that these are important trees that can be seen from public space, and therefore they contribute to the amenity value for members of the public. And the application wasn't clear on the position of the trees and proximity to the house, and didn't have a clear justification for their removal. So we want the tree officer to look at this and take into account our comments, rather than just saying, yeah, it's okay, take the trees down.
Les is asking for ratification. So can we do that by the show of hands?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Les.
Thank you.
57 to 26. We consider quotes for remedial works to the our little shop that's attached to the public toilets. We have two items: a replacement door to comply with health and safety and fire regulations. That's the first one. I think Leanne has a cost for that.
4,582.50. For the door.
Yeah, there's only one person who can do it. They've gone for quotes for other people, but they've not.
So this has got activation sensors.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Leanne, is that the toilet I complained about that was heavy to pull?
No, this is the kiosk.
The shop.
When it moves,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Does this need planning? So
That is within that'll go on the builder reg application. And we've got planning permission.
do the door,
It's just a replacement, isn't it? It's going to be like.
Like for like.
like for like.
Like
Yeah.
for like. Right.
Just say that I have already put in a complaint about that door. It is extremely heavy to pull if you're in a scooter or you've only got so much strength. It seems to be, no, but the one that is there.
Yeah, you go in the shop door.
Yeah, I'm saying we don't need a replacement of that door, because that one, nobody can open it who is disabled. It's really heavy. I know it's a fire door, but it's heavier than most that I've actually entered. I don't know why, and it's a different kind of door to the other door. So I wanted that looked into, because it's far heavier.
Yeah.
So being a replacement might be a bit of a problem for.
It's not the toilet doors we're talking about, you know, Sue's News.
Yeah,
The door on the front of Sue's News.
right.
Is the
Yeah,
shop door we're talking.
What I'm saying is these fire doors, that one is extremely heavy in that toilet.
Yeah,
So we
but
don't want
this
another
is-
one like that.
No, this is
Oh,
about
completely
Sue's
different.
News. It's completely
Right,
different.
that's-
So it's the door on the front of Sue's News.
Right.
Or Sue's News, as you come up.
I may have misread the constitution, but is that not going to be an automatic open door anyway?
They'll have different options.
Yeah.
So
When they're
then-
back.
So that we don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
yeah.
But that's for the kiosk, Graham.
That's a key.
It's not toilet.
Oh, yeah, we're not.
Yeah, it's kiosk.
There is going to be a disabled wheelchair user button to open the door.
There we
as
are.
well.
Oh, brilliant. I
So-
did say about that and I got knocked down saying they couldn't afford it. Right, okay.
I need the council's approval to head for that application.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need it, don't we? So,
Yeah, we got it.
yeah, we've got to have it done.
What all's not going to turn up?
Oh,
No,
No, I'm still staying.
Part two of that, this is the vinyl flooring. We also have a.
it's from Swaffham carpet.
Mhm.
And for preparation and vinyl and fitting is £951.20.
Reasonable.
It's the levelling of the floor.
Yeah.
So there's no-
it's what?
The levelling of the floor.
Right, okay.
Right,
Right.
show of hands again, please. Are we accepting that one? Two.
Sorry, I didn't put my hand up.
Oh, sorry.
Do we go to other places for quotes as well, or do we just go to Swaffham Carpets?
At this point, we've just gone to Swaffham carpets.
Right. We have to have 3 quotes.
So for a certain amount we do.
I think they are our preferred suppliers for that type of work. Aren't they?
Well, we needed it done
Yeah.
quite quick.
Yeah.
I had just done downstairs and we were able to vote quickly.
Right, okay.
I'll just confirm that we are renting the whole shop now, are we?
Yes.
So the glutton machine is going down the field.
Yeah.
Just what to be fair.
Okay, can I move on? Next item, 5826. They consider commissioning a feasibility study, including cost estimates and other associated deliverables. Well, I don't know if I can say that word actually. For the swimming pool.
Don't like that word.
Right, well, this could be a contentious one. We need to talk about this one. Anyone got anything to add? Yes, yes.
I'm all in favour of doing work to the barn and whatever we can to improve it. I don't think we need a feasibility study. We've got,
We've had on it, haven't we?
I think we just need to decide what to do.
Yeah.
Rather than both.
Before it becomes derelict and nothing.
Ellen?
So last month I had a quick chat with you all regarding this. I've been to the barn, had a look, and knowing the sort of things that I know within the construction industry and training as an architect and that, the barn is in quite a bad state of repair. We do need to spend some money on it, even if we were just to leave it as it is. I believe we would need really a condition survey to see where we are as of today. And then decide a way forward, which would then open up whether we continue with the barn or possibly sell it. You know, if the asset is not viable, and also explore options as to what can we actually do with the internals of it. You know, can we get people in that are more pro to the public consultation that
So are you
happens?
saying to me that it can't be sold the state it's in now?
It
We'll
can.
have to,
It
it can,
Yeah.
It can be sold as it is.
right?
But if we are going to do something with it, so say we want to open it as a venue when the FOL tenancy is finished, then we need to obviously put some money against it. At the moment, we've got penetrating damp, flint works failing,
Yeah.
the render is blown in places. The flat is not a viable flat in any shape or form. It's more of a storage space or a studio flat, so it's not going to generate an income that's going to be a good income for any form of, you know, getting that money back. What we get from Fountain of Life is just peppercorn rent.
Yep.
So do we aim high and become a destination, and Swaffham has something, you know, like other market towns have around. So, you know, maybe Fakenham has the paddle courts now, that kind of thing. Or do we just turn around and go, okay, we've done enough. We haven't got the desire to drive it forward. It's going to cost a lot of money. And we sell it.
We're never going to get back to what we paid for, are we? Whatever. It's not a solid structure. We've got to decide what we want to do with it. Do we want to keep it? Do we just want to go, bye? We always seems to come back to.
I do use the barn. I go for gazzy bees and other things there. It is a big part of Swaffham now, actually. There's lots and lots of people that go there. So to lose it, I think would be a bad thing, actually, to the town now, unless it can be sold to someone who's going to do exactly the same thing.
I think the point of it being a community, but actually it's two separate entities. There's the barn and there's the FOL. And the FOL are the community aspects. So wherever the FOL, if we decided we weren't going to go down that route, so the FOL will find somewhere else and still have the same community aspects. There's two different sides to this.
They've already moved from the community centre to there. So
Yeah.
where else can they go?
Well,
Assembly
that's-
rooms, and
this
that's
is
like-
hypothetical, hypothetical. But I'm saying you have to separate the two, as in who the FOL are and what they do and what the actual barn is and what that's costing us, and whether we actually need to continue
But I'm
forward.
just saying that they do, I mean, they even have dads and children and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. They've really done a
I
good
don't
thing.
agree.
They're probably trying, but
Yeah,
they've got a lot further to go.
I mean, to move
unfortunately.
You can move it, you can move that anywhere, can't you, for.
Well, I'd like to head
Go anywhere.
forward because you were on the steering committee with me and we first applied with, well, I wasn't on the council at that
I'll
time.
start with the barn bit.
Yeah,
I think, yes, we do need to spend some money on it and get it up to a watertight and a proper condition that is sort of going to, but not overdo it. You know, it needs to be work done on it, what is required to make it fit for purpose, if you like. I think that needs doing. The swimming pool, I think, should be washed away from that and kept as a separate item. Nothing to do with that. That, in my mind, is a money pit, and I'm not against it 100% to spend any money on that swimming pool.
Tracy? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
How long have you there been? How many years have you there been running?
A long time. I do apologise.
It's a case of like when we had the surveys done on the swimming pool before, like what you said, Graham. Graham. Paul. It's dangerous. It is the case of that if we took our water out of that pool, it's going to collapse in that because it's the water that's maintaining the walls, isn't it? Because
That's what
it's
we've
been
been
that.
told all
yeah,
along.
isn't it?
Yeah.
If you do that, so the pool is
Inwards.
exactly. So the pool is a non-negotiable thing.
It's a non-starter.
Yeah, 100%.
Can I just ask for clarification about what we're actually voting on? They're not in the papers or anything.
Whether we're going to pay £14,000 for a feasibility
Another
study.
feasibility study. Yeah,
Mm.
that's where we see we've sunk so much money into feasibility studies.
So I think at the moment, we need to understand what the condition of the barn is, okay? And how much that will cost. So it would support basically what Paul is saying, you know, that it does need money spent on it. What do we do? How can we phase that in? Do we need advice from an architect or a civil engineer, et cetera, to understand what we can do and when we can do it? The internals, if we were choose to make a destination in Swaffham, actually have something and be put on the map for something, obviously that's something different. And we could look at, you know, a charity setting that up and then running with something, because the internal funding of that building could be done by the charity and the funding sources are very, very different. And the town council will probably not need to spend any money internally.
Have we not been done through charitable?
We can't get to the status.
We can't get the
The
status.
town council.
The town council can't,
Yeah.
but a separate entity of trustees would be able to run it, and then how I see it, it would be good to have a project manager come in and manage the whole of the building, and they pay a proper rent and we get value for money. And we understand what needs to go.
You're going back to what we wanted about, when we first bought it, actually.
Yeah, just go across to Steph.
Project manager.
Steph.
But haven't you had,
Get it? Yeah.
we've had, surveys and things like that done on
Yeah.
the barn
So,
previous, haven't we? So what, there's gonna be nobody gonna tell us any different to what we've been told already.
The barn has
And
been,
why should we pay £14,000?
so we've had a survey done, but the condition is even worse because as a landlord, we haven't spent any decent money on it. You know, and when you go around and you have a look at the state, the flint work that was repaired by the previous owners, by using cement and not lime cement, you know, and different things like that. You've got, if you look through some of the the cupboards inside, you can see straight through
I
the
know.
outside. You know, so it is quite shocking.
Okay.
But obviously the FOL decided to take it as it was and anything needs to be done.
They-
Right, they were going to do it, weren't they? Am I correct or not?
We handed it to the FOL on the basis that we would not put any more money into the
Yeah,
building.
so they knew this.
They had to use it as it was,
Yeah.
damp or not damp or whatever.
Yeah,
Because we'd already put new boilers in there, we've done fire doors or,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
say we hadn't spent
Looked
any
at
money,
it,
Kelly,
didn't
we went up to 300,000 on it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you haven't. I mean, obviously I've come into this and I've seen a lot of the paperwork from the history of it and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know, and my concern is that we don't duplicate what we already have in the town. The Fountain of Life will, you know, contract comes up in 2 years possibly, or even less than that now. It's going to fly round. So we've got 2 years technically to decide and put together possibly a strategic plan on how we go forward, have proper conversations with people and whether we choose to have it and keep it or sell it. But whatever we do, whether we're the Fountain Life are in it or not, we need to spend a lot of money on it. And you're not talking a couple of 100,000, you're talking.
Can I just cut in today because he's been waiting quite a while.
That's all right. I just think that any money that we spend on that building going forward is never going to be recovered. We'll never get our money back on that building, whatever we spend it. So either decide to sell it as it is, we spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on doing it up and never get that money back in, because you'll never get what it's cost us.
It was.
But is it an asset for the town? And this is what we've got to decide as well.
The charity in
We've
is
had
doing
it out
what
for
it's
so
doing
long.
for the next 2 years.
it's not been,
But we don't have an economy that's actually thriving in the town. What can we have? We've got passing tourist trade that just goes straight through because there's nothing to stop for. The market can't sustain a 6-day week town. You know, it's barely sustains a day. It doesn't even sit there for a full day. So, you know, how do we get people coming in and wanting to stay in the town and we support the shops? We can only do that if we have things and projects, whatever they are, in the town that people want to come to.
I agree
We-
with what you're saying, but
we don't
I
have-
don't think that is the right position to do what you say to do to bring people into the town centre to spend money as tourists,
This
blah,
is-
blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's out of the town.
This is one of the
unfortunately,
sad
but it
things
is.
about this, Kelly, that the building itself is well hidden. It's not a place that people driving through the town would even see.
no, you don't see it.
No, but then you have, you know, and you've got to join the dots up. So you have marketing and you have, if you have it and you have funding from, say, the Arts Council and places like that, they do a lot of that for you. It's, you know, as soon as you have someone in there as a project manager managing it properly as a business, we won't get the money back. We'll never get the money back regardless. And that is it in a
You coming onto the council, Kelly, we have had meeting after meeting, conversation after conversation about this barn.
That's history. We
And
can't
we've-
wrap
And
it up.
we've not gone anywhere with it because we're hitting brick wall every time, because all we're doing is outlaying money all the time on something which we're never going to get back.
We looked at a project
We
manager.
did, didn't we?
And then tens
Yeah.
of thousands a year that would cost us to have a
Yeah,
But
project
it wouldn't be
manager.
us. See, this is the thing.
No,
If we
it-
had a charity, it wouldn't be us paying that. It would be the charity paying that because they would be able to run events or whatever that would be suitable within the venue, you know, and the funding that they would get would be completely different to what we would be able to get as a town council. as a town council, we can't manage that and we can't run it. It's as simple as that.
And that is the crossroad we're at.
So let's go back to the question then, shall we?
This email, has everybody read this email?
Yes.
Has everybody read the email
Yeah.
around the table?
Yeah.
Go on, Bob, what have you
Read
picked
this
out?
email.
Go on, Bob, what have you picked out?
Well, no, the whole thing, you have to read the whole email. You can't vote on something you haven't read. So until everybody's read the whole email and taken it in to see what's been proposed for the future of the barn and the swimming pool, you can't really vote on it.
I mean, it's silly, but I haven't seen this. Was it?
It's got it up on the screen, it's not even sent to people.
When does this?
Come on, you're voting on something you haven't even read.
I haven't seen it.
No, I
Is
haven't.
it? Well, I haven't seen it.
We're going to have to.
Because I-
When was it? When was it
Yeah.
circulated?
I haven't seen it.
Leanne only received it today, John.
I can't vote on something that I don't understand what I'm voting on.
I don't think we can further this tonight.
I think we all have to read that email.
Yes, we do, yeah. We can refer this to the finance committee as a late item if you're all in agreement with that.
Yes, agree, do that. Finance is on Monday, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, it's fine.
That's fine. Right, I think we need to move on now. Where are we at? Consider the estimated day-to-day operational cost of the public toilets as requested by councillor Garvey.
Do you want me to?
Yes, you can lead on that.
Well, I asked for the costings, what it would cost to run, or an estimated costings, what the toilets were going to cost against what they're costing there. We got a list of costs for the materials that they expected to use and that sort of thing, but there was no, within that report, there was no staffing costs or within that report. So, you know, it wasn't a true figure of what the actual running cost would be for the toilets. And I know that's a very difficult thing to do, but what I wanted to know is if the toilets cost us £10,000 now, will they cost us 12,000 in the future when the new ones are done? I don't know. I still don't know the answer to that question.
On here.
No, it isn't.
Forecast is on there. Do you want to see it? But as I said to you earlier, the town wardens, part of the employment of the town wardens,
Yes,
were 25% of their work was to clean the toilets. So
Sorry,
they've
Bob,
already
if
been
I
employed.
can answer you on that. Yes, I agree with you. The town ward, but how much of the town warden costing us? They have time, if they're going to spend 10 hours, 20 hours a week cleaning the toilets, then that cost
Don't work
would be in there. Whatever the time, amount of time should be in there as a part of that cost, you know, that running them toilets. Now, and that isn't, it doesn't give a true figure in my mind.
So what does it cost to run the toilets this year? Do we know? 627.
575 quid.
575 quid. So in 27, 28, it's going to cost £1,055 to run the toilets. And if we have solar panels and a water irrigation system on top of the roof, it'll be even less.
Well, actually, you're taking, you took off what then costs you're taking off. You're taking off the £5,000 we used to get for the rent, which we're not going to get anything like in the future.
I don't.
So, you know,
£1,000.
well, that was what they paid rent, wasn't it?
Slot machines, £5,000 a year came in from there.
If it was the rent of the shop.
Oh, yeah, well, I thought you were on about the 20p slot.
No, I'm not on about that. That was a waste of time.
Well, that's the whole point of changing the toilets. But,
That doesn't give that still does not give us a true running cost of what the toilets will cost us. And I'm against going back to the amount of money we used to spend on something. And that's a nice to do, and it's something I agree we should have them. But an awful lot of councils are closing toilets left, right, and centre because they can't afford to run them. And it's not,
As you're saying, we can't afford to run a toilet in the town.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that that is a fact of life. In a lot of places.
Paul, can I just come
But
back?
take one stand now, just announced that they're going to be closing one of their toilet blocks up, haven't they?
Well, they got about 4 or 5.
We've all,
Yeah,
we've all
but they're a seaside town.
reached a decision that we've got to improve these toilets.
Yes.
So it's, got running, the cost of running them will have to go in line with opening better toilets. I mean, you can't do the improvement work and then leave them shut because we can't afford to clean them, so I think you've just got to have to accept the fact that it's got to cost more money to do it.
Council agreed that we had to have better toilets to improve
Exactly.
appeal of Swaffham to the people coming through and visiting Swaffham. Like for bring more money into the town, so the cost to run them.
Well, I
is very
do-
good. Bring more money.
Yeah,
into the town.
I understand your point, Paul, because you have a lot of history of what's happened to those toilets over the years. And I mean, it's sad, I read an article the other day that Britannia Pier in Yarmouth just built all new toilets on their pier, and they had to consider shutting them already because of vandalism. But we've been fortunate here, touch wood, since we regulated the hours of opening. That seems to be behind us for the time being. So I think we have to move forward.
I've said my piece anyway.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Paul. That's democracy. Right, the next item is to consider a request for drone filming the RBL rededication service on the 6th of September. Usually doesn't have we got to give the okay on that? Is that our rule?
Yeah, there are some.
I don't have a problem with that.
How lovely.
Yeah,
How lovely.
let's quickly have a show of hands on that. Do we approve of it?
Yeah.
That's fine.
People fly around the town, do it
Without
in
asking
any case,
permission,
don't
yeah,
they?
they do, yeah.
Right, the next item is Swaffham Guardians Community Pledge Initiative. Who have we got here that's on? We've got Helen. Would you like to lead on that?
So Swaffham Guardians has been approached by several community projects and other schools and also care homes to try and bring those children, elderly, etc., into the community and do some form of project. And I've been in touch with a teacher at Hartwood Primary School, and she's requested that we go in and have a chat. And Jen has kindly agreed to come along with me, so we show them about, we talk about the Swaffham town, about the mayor and the deputy mayor and what they do, what Swaffham Gardens is about, and it supports them all in the Archbishop of York Awards. So it's a bit like Duke of Edinburgh, but for the children. So they get something out of it at the end of the day. So what I'd like to do as part of a initiative to work with them, rather than it just be a talk and it's a bit boring, is to get them to sign like a town pledge. And I put a suggestion of what the town pledge would be, and it would be, I promise to be kind to my neighbour, I promise not to litter. And so the idea is it's a bit interactive, it's a bit of fun. And I'm asking if we can borrow the town council logo, obviously with permission every time we use it from Helen going forward. I work quite closely with Helen regarding some of the stuff we do from Guardians, and just do this if we were going into a school to make it a bit more fun. And the idea is that they'll have something that they sign at the end, all the kids, and it goes up on the wall, and they just have something to refer back to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice idea.
Yeah, I think.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you. Appreciate your consideration.
Shall we vote on that then?
Yep.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Well done.
Oh, sorry, Phil. Did you have it?
I'm ambivalent about it.
John, put your hand up. John, put your hand
You
up.
didn't ask why.
Your hand up. Put your hand up.
No, I'm not. No, it's like, I didn't get a chance to say anything.
I'm so sorry. Can you put your hand
a vote. It's done.
Would you like to sing?
No, it's
Okay.
past, isn't it?
We passed it, yeah. The next item, I've seen some of the figures for this, but to consider a vote for the hearing route that can be connected to the Logitech camera, which we watch on the screen here. I think we've got 10, we've got some figures on that.
It's not on the agenda.
Got determination for a request for a construction.
We haven't approved it for that.
It's not on the agenda, but there's
Probably on the finance.
Oh, well, shall we ignore that one then for the moment? Yeah. Determination of a request for a party structure notice.
We've received a party structure notice for works going on at the White Hart. Unfortunately, it's been made out in the wrong name, so we've requested one for the town council.
Yeah.
But the proposed works are to cut away defective flashings and roof coverings where connected to the party wall. To cut into the party wall at roof level to insert new flashings and to temporarily expose the party wall hitherto proving temporary weathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just replacing the flashing.
Yes. So what we need is the approval that they can carry out some work to our adjoining wall.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say, can we approve this for when they get the correct address on it?
Yes, yes.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise that,
Get Helen to sign it,
Yeah.
you all agree.
Yep.
And there was a, part of it, we were appointing the same engineer. Or engineer,
yeah, which
or should we appoint someone else?
we don't need. Yeah. Nothing wrong with having their engineer. It's quite a simple thing.
Hmm.
Trust me.
Yep.
I trust you. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we give his permission and.
Let's put his hand up quick. His hand's up.
This is,
Do you want to say something?
so anything that gets that building.
Yeah, well, there is,
Yeah.
There is a planning application in published today on the White Hart for the structure. It's for external works, windows and repainting and
Yeah, that
stuff.
evening when.
So something's happening.
It's just, yeah, that's in the work statement at the bottom.
Right, where are we now? To consider response to access to banking services review. Yeah, you'll have to let us know about this one.
Find out what this one is.
Hey, Helen, this-
We did, yeah, not caught up with them.
We may have to leave that one as well if you want.
no, Jacob might have a view on that.
Having a
Yeah.
look to see if
Yeah,
that was quite a while ago. I'll take that.
It came from Jacob.
So this was just something I forwarded on from the Brecon Business newsletter. So there's the government's doing a consultation on access to banking in local communities. So they're doing a call for evidence open till the 20th of July. And there's an online survey.
So it's basically a public thing and it's not a council.
Yeah.
So how I read it, I thought it was
Well, they
we had to do.
You've asked us to do a response.
I think they were looking for responses from the public, but any others or local stakeholders. Oh yeah, so it says including wide range of stakeholders, including consumers, businesses, community organisations, local authorities.
I think that would be good to go on our social
Yeah.
media.
It would be. Well, I'd quite like to see something like Watton's got, or bank can have.
Well, it should have happened here, shouldn't it? We had the opportunity to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, there's nothing.
What are you asking us to do on that? We've got vote that we're in favour of it or?
In the meeting papers, we need to do. is
20th of July, which time is it?
Response to review and is encouraging residents, businesses and community organisations across the district to share their experiences So do we have enough banking facilities
No,
on the
no, we
town?
don't.
No, we don't.
Definitely in need of banking one.
There's loads of banks on Keeling Town. There's nothing now, is there?
Move on that West London, is it?
Yeah.
No, but think of all the bank buildings we used to have in the town, Graham.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got nationwide.
We could have good bank buildings and finish up with nothing.
Yep.
I mean, if nothing else, that is evidence to this inquiry, isn't it?
Yeah.
That we've lost all those banks in what, half a dozen years?
We're a load of profit.
So we've got only nationwide now.
Yeah, we've got
Oh, and
nationwide.
Yorkshire. Yorkshire,
Yeah, that opposite Costa.
Right, can we just formulate a simple response to this that Leanne can go back to Breckland with?
You lost me bank.
Yeah, bring our banks back.
Thanks.
Get that.
Individual banks, but you could.
Yeah,
have
banking
banking
hub.
hub.
What's
A banking
banking
hub
hub?
would be,
We did try and apply for one, but.
down in Bath, you've got a banking hub,
Yeah,
haven't they?
where Barclays was in Watton, that's now a bank.
Well, they
hub,
started
isn't it?
bringing in after Barclays closed. I'm sure if that had have been in a different order, we probably would have kept Barclays as a hub as well, but it wasn't to be, was it?
No, because better was the.
That's what we need. Bring us a banking hub.
Banking
That's
hub.
what we need.
Well, it's the evidence that we've lost all that.
Yeah.
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 So do we need to put that on our social media as well for residents to respond as well?
Yes.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we don't just put them.
You've got
Bank
four
onto the town.
main bank.
Right, well, we need to move on, ladies and gentlemen, to the next item. Consider and adopt the Swaffham Town Council planning consultation policy, including the delegated authority procedures for responding to planning consultations where consultations deadlines for the next scheduled meeting.
Are these always long issues than what we're dealing with tonight?
Is this a new
I
policy?
think, Les, you got.
Well, this is as a result of
Yeah.
the earlier point. So this will now rationalise that will enable us to make the occasional decision by email to avoid missing deadlines on planning application. So if you read the policy, Helen's changed it to allow us to do that
Yeah.
properly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
There's just one thing in that list, we've got a neighbourhood plan, 6 material planning application considerations. Neighbourhood plan. No, it's not there. You put that in.
It's actually a list of, no, it is in further on
Is it?
what we, on the decision making. That's a list of things that we should comment on or might comment on, and things that we shouldn't comment on.
Yeah.
Things like value of
Just ask
property.
a simple question, really. Surely it's illegal to do that because things have to go through committee, be ratified at committee or other full council, don't they? Is it legal to actually do that? Because what we're doing is going back to COVID days, aren't we, where we were actually using emails for consensus. But the legislation changed back again.
I'm guided by, Helen just said she would change the policy.
So because, obviously we have the committee structure and we have the full council structure. That's where legally decisions are ratified. So to actually go back to a consensus email, I think is not legal. That's just my thoughts. I might be wrong. Yeah,
Well, when this was first, because originally all planning applications came to full council.
Yes.
We didn't have a planning committee as such originally. Then when this was done, and I think what it was said in the policy was that if it was a main draw or something controversial, it would revert back to going to full council for that decision.
And that is in the.
And that is in there still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't see anything wrong with it.
I mean, it's not, it only occasionally happens. We would normally ask for an extension if it's important. this wasn't hugely tensions. We weren't objecting or anything to made no comment. So it's, I mean, it's unusual, but I was, it was Helen idea to change the policy so that we don't end up having a possible problem. So I'm only guided by her special field of expertise. I mean, we can always delay this. It's not an urgent item. If we need to go back to Helen and check that.
Yeah, so you.
Is it okay to refer it back to Helen to confirm that we are conforming with the legal requirement?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, the principle. Okay, we'll move on now to finances. The receipts for June 2026.
Yep.
And if you've got any queries with those. No, we'll move on to the payments. Nothing there.
Purchase.
Simon? I haven't got it.
Is that the agenda you went through with Helen on?
Yeah. Yeah. Right, I'm sorry about that, folks. We've just got one more item. I need approval to ratify the internal transfer of funds for the land purchase. That has all been completed now, hasn't it? So it just needs your approval of what we've done, really, basically. I think that's been received very well in the town. Yes. Yes.
I need to change this. Translate for 2 minutes.
Uncle Jimmy's chuffed that we've named the field after him.
It's beautiful. It's lovely, isn't it?
He absolutely
Yeah.
honoured. He's honoured to think that you've actually used his name.
Yeah, that's very nice. Right, we better go back to, we've got to approve the bank reconciliation date from the agenda.
Payments.
We've done the payments, no one had queries, no. I didn't have time.
I never you was in there. Get it together.
I know that. Right, okay, well, that looks as though we've completed the business of the evening. The next full council meeting will be on the 9th of September, 6:30. Unless there's anything, we have had years where some of us. Hopefully not. Okay.